I want to finish with ingredients of success. And I have 5, and there are books and books and books about success, and many of you all have been successful. I hope you've been successful in raising your kids, because that's probably the most important job you're going to have. And sometimes you might be successful in doing that, and maybe not successful in business, and it takes a little while. But here's some of the things that I think that, and you can kind of see which ones that you measure up to the 5. Most of you will have all 5. No matter which direction you go, you'll want to be successful. Pitfalls, roadblocks, peaks and valleys, ups and downs, success and failures. You cannot have rainbows without storms. You cannot succeed without failing, but it's not the end. The strength lies in our young people, and I've told you that twice today. Now I share with you the 5 ingredients of success. Number 1, very easy, very simple. Hard work. Nothing can replace hard work, long hours, and great effort. The harder you work, probably the luckier you're probably going to get. Dreams crushed, goals destroyed, but never give up. A couple quick examples. Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States. He was defeated 10 times in politics. And he had very little formal education, but he had a keen judgment, and he had a lot of common sense. Became very successful. Another one, and I'll just give you one more, that's Thomas Edison. 10,000 experiments until they turned and that bulb came on. We do something 2 or 3 times, and if it doesn't work, what are we going to do? Put it aside. Don't want to handle it anymore. When you were in school, if you had a subject you didn't do very well, what'd you do? You put it down and let that science alone and took up the English, which you were doing very well in. 10,000 experiments. Amazing before we talk about perseverance in something. Number 2, a positive attitude about life in general. What kind of attitude do you go and you business people when you go in and work with your people? Your attitude will probably determine about how hard they work. If you go in with a friendly attitude and giving away all those problems maybe that you just had at home or with your sons and daughters, but if you go into those people and say, Mary, that's sure a nice jumpsuit that you have on today. I appreciate what you did yesterday. If you look for those types of things, I will guarantee you'll see the results, and they'll be good. Not going to solve all the problems. Your attitude may determine your altitude. Be happy in what you're doing. If you're not happy going into work, I would suggest to you to think about getting out of it as fast as you possibly can. If you're not happy doing it. I've heard teachers say, I just hate to have to get up to go in to face those kids again. Thank goodness those teachers were near retirement. But I hope that no one would say that. That whenever you burn out, get out and let somebody else do it. No one, in my estimation, is really good at what they do if they are miserable. And that's Russ Potts' friend, the football coach at the University of Texas, Mac Brown. Enthusiasm. You've got to have a lot of enthusiasm to solve a lot of things. And I'm going to give you some big people that should know. Henry Ford said, you can do anything if you have enthusiasm. Nothing great, said Emerson, was ever achieved without enthusiasm. We have to be able to adapt and adjust to everyday life. Ability to communicate, be a good listener, enjoy yourself, love what you are doing. Number 3, set goals. Set goals that are realistic. If you're a 5'4" and you're going to play in the NBA, not going to happen. Well, maybe Mosey did one time, but he's the only one. So set goals, but don't make them too low that you can accomplish them in 2 days. Set them that you have to work. You have to hard work the number 1 to get to those goals. But if you want to be somebody, you can make it. And you might start out as an engineer and be something else and wind up a businessman. That'll be okay. You might plan to be a nurse and become a homemaker. But never give up. Never be satisfied. When I say that, never give up, automatically North Carolina State basketball coach comes to my mind when his motto was, never give up. Be a fighter, have a big heart. You are never a failure unless you fail to try. The doors to opportunity are not marked give me a handout. They're marked push and pull. See things not as they are, but as they can be. Be persistent and stand up for your beliefs like we should have done February 25th, 1962, when the federal government was telling us about we were going to take prayer out of schools. We should have stood up and really fought that. Have courage. Andrew Jackson said, one man with courage makes a majority. Number 4, very simple. Honesty and integrity in all your undertakings. Have good character. It's like good soup. It's usually homemade. People may tell you you can't do this and you can't do that. And you can't be a lawyer, a dentist, or bricklayer. Don't believe it. The bumblebee flies anyway. Dream big dreams. You've got to have a plan. We don't go out and build a house on a wing and a prayer. You have a plan, you have a set of plans, and that's the way life is. Life is precious, sometimes fragile. Make good decisions and choices. Don't sweat the small stuff. The small stuff don't do you any good, except it's probably going to give you a lot of stress and a lot of physical problems. And you probably can't do anything about it anyway. Don't worry about it. Number 5, a positive role model. And I'm sure some of you have role models, and I had 2, both right in this community. One was my former coach, football, basketball, baseball, track, Jim Casey. And he's got it all. Non-smoker, non-drinker. He had all the characteristics. He is the reason that I went into education. And that started in the 8th grade. And Jim Casey today is a very successful horseman, and he has given a lot of money to students in our area to help them with their college plans. And the second is Senator Harry F. Byrd, Jr., 96 years old, 18 years in the U.S. Senate, 18 years in the Virginia Senate. But a man, of course, you all know, started the Winchester Star Leadership Awards in 1954. The next year he did the same thing in Harrisonburg. There's 10 congressional districts in Virginia. There's a scholarship of $10,000 in each of those. Harry F. Byrd also giving back to young people. Senator Byrd called me 2 years ago and said, "Wendell, you do me a favor. Hey, when you got the same senator calling you who's on the level he is, hey, what do you need? I'll tie your shoes right now." And I went to the Alderman Library in Charlottesville. Senator Byrd, Jr. of Virginia. His papers are the largest collection ever in Virginia. That includes living and deceased. He also has more people that want to see his papers than anybody else in Virginia, living or deceased. That's a pretty strong statement when 3 out of the first 5 presidents of the United States were from Virginia. And so our gentleman, 96 years old, is still living, and he is an icon that we have right here in our community. And there's no doubt in my mind that he'll go down in history as one of the greatest Americans to ever live.